Yay Networks.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Casillejos, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. My name's Nick Adams.
I'm Anna.
Amy. And I'm Lacey G.
And we are gathered here today to celebrate the union between Anna and Ryan.
Yeah, speak now or forever hold your peace.
So our girl Anna got married last week, and we were all there celebrating with Anna on a beautiful beach in Cancun. It was a wonderful week, so thanks for the invite.
Well, thank you guys for coming. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
it was great.
I did a destination wedding, which I know is a big ask for guests, and so to have you guys there was really special. I'm just so happy that all three of you were there. It was really, really, really special.
You have such a fun group of friends. I mean, from the moment I landed, I'm on a bus with somebody, and they're like, "Oh, you're here for Anna's wedding," and it was just your family is great. I don't know how anybody. Well, I mean, they made you, Anna. Your parents are so wonderful. Your family is so sweet.
Aw,
your
thanks.
mom is the best. I mean, you're the best.
Thanks. And they love you guys. Like, my family, my friends, like, they all really, really adore you guys. So
Anna's mom's great. I got a soft spot for Anna's dad, though. And I got a story that I'm going to tell you later when we get to it.
Okay.
About your dad.
Okay.
Because I saw Anna's dad. I mean, there was a lot of people for Anna and Ryan's wedding there, but I saw Anna's dad like 7 times a day. Everywhere I went
I did
was
too.
Anna's dad.
He was
and he was
everywhere.
always excited to see everyone that was there. We would
Yeah.
always chat for 5 minutes every time. He was great. He was
Aw.
wonderful. Anyway, so yeah, we're here to break down all the Easter eggs of Anna's wedding.
Yeah, well, not only was the wedding itself amazing, but it has been really cool. I mean, we've had this podcast for a little over 2 years, and over the last 2 years, I've been able to share on the podcast not only my romantic connection to a lot of Taylor Swift songs, but also how I connect them with Ryan, who on this podcast went from being my boyfriend to my fiance to now my husband. So it's really cool because, I mean, on this podcast, we obviously talk about Taylor Swift first and foremost, but it is also really special to share that like personal connection with our listeners.
Yeah.
And I got so many sweet messages like from our listeners the day of the wedding, and the ones that caught on to the fact that my wedding date did add up to 13, 7/1/23. When Ryan found that out, he was like, "You've got to be kidding."
Mastermind.
How many
But-
times he has to bite his tongue.
I know,
It's like,
but
gosh.
bless him, truly, truly bless him, because he married a Swiftie and he knew what he was getting into. Man, where to even begin with the Easter eggs? Well, I do love that, Nick, you had made a video the day of the wedding saying that just like Taylor Swift, Anna has 2 surprise songs.
And since she was engaged, I feel like you knew what your surprise songs were.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, I know it. My surprise songs are going to be when she walks down the aisle and the first dance.
Yes.
And she would not tell anybody.
I didn't tell anybody and I actually got the idea from a friend to not share the first dance song because when you're planning a wedding, every single person in my life knew every single detail about this wedding, every single thing, except for I feel like me and Ryan both agreed that the first dance song is something we could keep for ourselves, like just that one little detail that we kept for ourselves. And one of my best friends did that for her wedding, and I love that so much. So I told Ryan, I was like, we should do that also. I really like that. So to go in chronological order, I did walk down the aisle to a piano cover of Enchanted by Taylor
It
Swift.
was perfect.
I was kind of torn between Enchanted and Wildest Dreams because in Wildest Dreams, he's so tall and handsome as hell, and Ryan is really tall. He's 6'4", and I've always connected that with him. But Enchanted is just so magical and like whimsical, and I thought it was kind of like subtle enough where, yeah, the Swifties know that it's Enchanted, but to anybody else, there was like a really pretty piano cover.
Yeah.
And we just happened to be 1 week away from Speak Now Taylor's version when I got married, so it was just like a super lovely added bonus. During the wedding ceremony, JC from the Kid Craddock Morning Show, my co-host on the morning show, he did sneak in a few Taylor Swift lyrics into the ceremony. He had said something about how like Anna was enchanted to meet Ryan, like that kind of thing, which was so cute because of course I was like, oh my God, of course he had to. Something that made me cry, and I don't. How did you guys react when Ryan started his vows? he said, we had vow books where we hand wrote our vows, and he opens his little book and he goes, "We were both young when I first saw you."
Yes.
And then he goes, "Oh, sorry, that's a Taylor Swift lyric." And then he like pretends to flip pages. He goes, "Oh, and that one, and that one." And he pretended to flip through like his vow book like it was filled with Taylor Swift lyrics. And he went through all of his vows, which were like so precious. And he basically was talking about how, he was like, you watch all these like rom-coms and you always, want this like story of like you fall in love at first sight. And he was like, but the truth is that we didn't fall in love at first sight. We had all these like different moments. And then he wrapped up his vows by saying, turns out we had our own love story after all. And I was like, oh my God. And so I didn't use any Taylor Swift lyrics in my vows and people were like so shocked about that. They were like, there was no Taylor. And I was like, because my vows were for him, right? His vows were for me. So, of course, like he had Taylor Swift, little Swiftie things in his vows for me because they were for me. And I just loved that so much. And then, let's see what else chronologically. I had you guys, of course, sitting at table 13. Did you love that? That was a little surprise I had for you guys.
It was great. It was a good table, too. We had good
was
company.
a good
It was a
table.
fun table.
It was a good table. When we were doing the seating chart, y'all were the first table that I had. Like, y'all were the first ones that I had. I was like,
Of
obviously, they're going to be
course.
at table 13.
Wow.
Everybody else can fall into place.
Before her family. Wow.
Before
right.
before I figured out where my family was
Well,
sitting.
when
I
you're
had you
here,
guys.
your family.
What is this, Olive Garden?
Yeah.
Is it
We
Tuesday?
are the Olive Garden of podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, is it Tuesday? Nobody, no crime.
Yeah. Another Taylor Swift Easter egg.
Reference.
And then throughout the wedding, so Ryan and I put together a playlist for the like cocktail hour dinner portion of our wedding ceremony. And in that playlist, I put kind of like the softer songs. I put Invisible String on there. I had August on there. And every time like there was a Taylor Swift song that came on during dinner, I was just like jamming out the whole time. I had some of my friends say that they were taking shots for every time they heard a Taylor Swift song. And I told one of the guys, because he was like my friend's plus one, I was like, you're in for a good night. So get ready. And he was like, oh, cheers. Awesome. And then our first dance song was a song that I had picked out 8 years ago. When 1989 came out, Ryan and I were both in college, and it was before we were dating because it came out in October, and we started dating the following February. But when 1989 came out, my friend Danielle and I were listening to the album on campus at like the Chick-fil-A. And I knew that Ryan like low-key had a crush on me, and so I like posted on like social media like listening to Taylor Swift at Chick-fil-A, and then Ryan just happened to show up, which was like so cute. So he showed up and he sat there and he listened to the entire album from start to finish with me and Danielle, and he only did that because he had a crush on me, and he was providing commentary, of course, about 1989. And when You Are in Love came on, I thought to myself, wow, this would be a really great first dance song at a wedding. Wouldn't that be something? Mm-hmm. And then we started dating, and I kind of kept it in the back of my head, but I didn't say anything. Even when we were like talking about getting married one day, it was something I never mentioned. It was something I kept to myself completely, like did not tell a single soul. And then after he proposed, when he was like, so we need to figure out our first dance song, I was like, actually, I already did that before we were dating. So our first dance was to You Are in Love, and I had cut it down because I feel like first dances can be awkwardly long.
Yeah.
So I cut it down to about a minute and a half, but I kept all my favorite lyrics of the song. So like my favorite lyric of that is pauses, then says, "You're my best friend." And you two are spinning in a snow globe round and round. And we planned it so he would spin me around in a circle during that part. So that was really special. And Ryan did say that was his favorite part of the whole wedding, was our first dance. He was like, that was just so special and it was so wonderful. And now maybe I can convince him to get a Taylor Swift tattoo. Yeah, and then throughout the night, so we had made the playlist for our wedding, and we basically just gave the playlist to the DJ and said, you figure out, when to play what, like the transitions, all of that. So in the first part of it, I had included like the popular Taylor songs that everybody would know. I had Blank Space on there. I had Shake It Off. I think I had a few others. I can't really exactly remember because we gave him way more songs than he actually ended up playing. And then at some point during the night, Lacey and Nick were both gone by this point.
Yeah, y'all were, man, it was late.
It was a late
getting
party.
Late. I can't hang.
It was a late party, but Amy was still there, thankfully, for what I like to call my Taylor Swift power hour, where I gave
back to back.
I had given my DJ like 5 Taylor Swift songs, and I was like, these are my power hours. So we started with Love Story. Everybody was lit. Everybody was lit during Love Story. It was amazing. And then it kind of wheedled out. So it was just the Swifties on the dance floor. So we had like Cruel Summer on there. I think I had Getaway Car on there. I don't know if he actually played that. Then Ready for It, Wildest Dreams. Because I wanted songs that like still everybody knew, but some of like my favorites on there. I didn't want there to be a moment where I'm the only one on the dance floor, like jamming out to Haunted, and people are like, what is
2
this?
2 a.m. Anna's hammered.
But I did love, it was like, I called it the Taylor Swift Power Hour, which was awesome. And Ryan said that at one point, he like looked at the dance floor and he was like, look at the Swifties. Look at them just shining, just so happy, just like out there. But it was just so... It was so special. I mean, Ryan was like, we're not going to have a Taylor Swift themed wedding. And I was like, no, I get that, but I'm going to have my little moments. And then one of my favorite things is, by coincidence, our hotel room was 4405, which adds up to 13. I was like, you've got to be joking.
Ryan can't get away from it.
You can't get away from it.
He's trapped.
You can't get away from it. So it was the best day of my whole life. It was an enchanting day. It was so beautiful to have you guys there. Truly, truly, truly. I'm so happy that you guys were there. I love that you were filming the surprise songs.
Yeah. We had to get the surprise songs in there.
And you got a point.
I got a point because I correctly guessed
my surprise song.
her surprise, Anna's surprise
Yeah.
song. But yeah, and that was the night where she had the 3 surprise songs.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't remember what they were off the top of my head. Ivy.
Call What You Want.
Call It What You Want.
And the song with
Gracie
Abrams.
Abrams. I Miss You, I'm Sorry.
There you go.
I believe. But I think something that was funny was you had pulled up your phone and you were like, it's time for surprise songs. And I was like, wait, we need to film this moment. Lacey was right behind us. And I was like, Lacey, will you get out your phone so we can film surprise songs? And I think, Lacey, you had a little bit of tequila, I think. Because you pulled out your phone to record, but you started like recording like yourself. And then you just started like...
I had a bunch of weird stuff on my phone the next day. I was like, what the crap is this?
It was so funny because you were kind of like walking around like not knowing what you were filming. And so Nick and I looked at each other. We found someone else. We're like, hey, actually, can you record this for us?
We just let Lacey wander off.
But it's so funny because if you watch the video of me and Nick with the surprise songs, you see Lacey in the background with her phone just like filming nothing.
I had to watch it again.
You got to go back and watch it because you just see Lacey like not knowing what is going on. It was so funny. It was so funny.
That story brings me to one of my stories. So the day after you got married, I don't know where we were, probably the pool or something, and there's a couple of us hanging around, and Lacey's kind of hoarse, lost her voice a little bit. She was like, it was a good wedding, but at least I'm glad I didn't twerk last night.
No, I was disappointed because I thought I didn't twerk.
I thought I didn't twerk, and everyone got silent. It was like, whoa,
I said,
Lacey,
I can't believe I didn't twerk at the wedding. And everybody was like, no, you did.
You did for sure.
Most definitely did.
That is so funny.
Yeah. So that brings me to my question, Anna. Are you mad at anybody after this trip?
No, I'm not. Am I
good.
supposed to be?
I hope not.
I hope not too.
I thought we were going to get some drama.
Well, you know what? And it's so funny because I feel like over the next few weeks, I'll start to get more stories from like other people's like experiences, perspectives, but on my end, everything was flawless. Everything was perfect. There was not a single thing that went wrong. I felt like every detail was perfect and I wouldn't change a thing.
Your wedding was perfect, and that's very hard to come by. Everybody stresses out and everything goes wrong on a wedding day except for yours. Your dress was incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So beautiful. It was like enchanted, folklore-esque. It was so pretty. It was so pretty.
I thought it was like Speak Now-esque, like Enchanted-esque, but a lot of people were commenting also saying folklore. Which was interesting. Ryan said that he didn't expect me to wear a dress like that. And I was
Really?
like, what would you expect? I felt like it was very me, and he thought I would wear something sparkly, which was the goal, but not one that I reached.
Was there any drama behind the scenes that we just didn't see, like any last minute chaos that none of your guests saw that you had to deal with?
Oh, my foot was swollen. So swollen that I was about to just do the entire wedding just barefoot. I got bit by a mosquito and had a bit of an allergic reaction. So my left foot was 3 times the size of my right foot.
I bet that was so painful.
It was so painful, but I was like, I'm not going to let this damn foot stop me. I'm going to dance the night away and worry about it tomorrow. So the day after my wedding, I was in the emergency room. But in sickness and in health.
That's right.
So.
Test it out early.
Immediately.
But it was all good. It was all smooth sailing. I feel like everyone was was just so wonderful. It's so beautiful.
Can I tell you a story about your dad?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So at Anna's wedding, we're on the beach. I don't know if we mentioned that. Like on the beach,
Like
the waves
on-
are like 10
Yeah.
feet away. Beautiful. It was a little warm, and so they were handing out fans.
Yeah.
Nice little fans that accordioned out. And so I go to look for a fan for my wife, and I'm wandering in the back, and your dad is standing there in the very back with JC, who married you guys. And I was like, well, Mr. Castillejos, you ready for this? And he just kind of took a breath, and he's like, I don't know if I can give my baby away.
Aww.
He's like, but I think it's time. I think I want to. Something to that effect. And it was the sweetest moment of a father. I mean, this was 2 minutes before everyone started walking down the aisle. He was, he was a little sad, but he was excited. He was
Yeah.
happy. And so it was just a really sweet moment. He was kind of taking a moment to just reflect, and he took a few deep breaths and walked you down the aisle.
I'm gonna cry. He's
was
so
really
sweet.
sweet,
He was
yeah.
so funny because he made a speech at the wedding, and he came up to me right before, and he was like, "I didn't prepare anything," and I was like, "You got it. Just speak from the heart." And he had one of the most. I was crying during his speech,
It's really good.
and he loves Ryan so much, and that's the most I could ask for, right? So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, something to say about the officiant, JC, who we're all really good friends with, he is Mexican too. And so you had a huge part of your Mexican family there. And so a lot of the service, the ceremony was kind of like a blended English, Mexican. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really perfect. You picked the perfect person to marry you guys because he can flawlessly slip in and out of Spanish.
Right.
And even Ryan, his vows and everything are part of y'all recited a bunch of stuff in Spanish too.
It was like the ring exchange,
The
basically,
rings,
like
yes.
do you take this, like
And
you
that was
promise,
really great.
like all of that, but it was in Spanish.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfectly
did
blended with the
amazing.
language.
I was
languages,
impressed with
yeah.
Ryan.
I know, me too. His Spanish is very good. His
Yeah.
Spanish is very good. It just continues to get better. His
Yeah.
Spanish is almost better than mine. I'm fluent, but it really everything about it was special, like so special. And I'm really happy that you guys were there.
It was perfect. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Oh my
yes,
gosh, of course.
agreed.
And let's not forget also, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but my dad said that one of his favorite moments also was that Amy's husband, Josh, kept calling him dad. Like kept calling my dad dad.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, dad. Hey, dad.
I think he didn't know his name.
Which is fine. And Amy and Josh were there until the whole party shut down, which was awesome. Y'all were there for the churros. You were there for the
Yeah.
breakfast
Oh,
tacos.
the churros were great.
yeah.
No wedding
Like,
cake.
everything.
Churro cart.
Yes, we
Great
had
move.
churros instead of a wedding cake.
Oh, it was so good. I had
It was so
several.
fun. It
I'm
was
so
the
glad.
funnest night.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to just relive it forever. I have like so many thousands of videos and photos that I want
I
to
want
share.
to see
I've
the
been
drone.
so
I
annoyed.
want to see the drone shots.
Me too. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I won't get it for like about like a month or so.
Yeah.
But the sneak peek photos that the photographer sent us were just so beautiful. I can't wait to get the rest because there's a professional photo of us in there somewhere. So I can't wait for us to get it.
Well, go find Anna on social media. You can find her handles and all of our handles if you go check out at the 13 podcast. We're all there. And send Anna some congratulations.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. For anybody that listens and has been part of this journey. And if anybody needs any wedding tips, let me know.
It was perfect, Anna. It was absolutely perfect, and we are so happy for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.